on the phone. It's a pleasure to welcome to the program as he traverses apparently a snowstorm on Route 87. He should be able to handle that. I mean, the guy's been to Iraq and Afghanistan reporting. 87 is a fairly straight road, so I think we're safe. Michael, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, as long as the state police don't mind that I'm probably violating some sort of law about talking on a cell phone while driving, but we won't tell them about it.
All right. Well, let's assume that you're talking on a headpiece and
hands-free.
Hands-free.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. In which case, I'm no longer I'm not aiding and abetting anything. So, all right, listen, there's a couple of stories I want to talk to you about, and I'm sorry that last time you were on the program we had such technical difficulties. But there was so there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about, but I want to start with the piece that you posted last night on Rolling Stone on RollingStone.com, a blog post emanating out of this email dump by from an allegedly anonymous hacking Stratfor, and then WikiLeaks releasing these emails. One was about the Department of Homeland Security essentially monitoring Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, that's correct. So WikiLeaks obtained about 5 million emails from the private security company called Stratfor. And the WikiLeaks isn't saying where they got it from. That's their usual policy. The hacktivist group Anonymous has taken credit for giving it to them, but we don't really know. And to me, I've been searching through the emails the past couple days, and this was the biggest news really I stumbled upon first. And essentially, Stratfor had been given a document, a report that Homeland Security had put together, kind of examining the roots of Occupy Wall Street, of a warning that it could become a threat to the country, essentially, and in quite vivid detail. They did things like checking, who's using Twitter, what sort of social media usage is being going on, what local law enforcement should look for, the impact that the protests had been having. So it's pretty significant from my point of view, even though some might say the report is benign. The fact that you have, a federal law enforcement agency that is putting together reports on peaceful protest movements, I think is somewhat disturbing.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things about this that I find really strange. I'm holding it now. It's like a 5-page PDF. It is from Homeland Security, the National Protection and Programs Directorate, Office of Infrastructure Protection. And, just first off, what would the reaction be if we find a 5-page PDF, color glossy report on the Tea Party? I mean, it's impossible to imagine. But
it would be sirens on the Drudge Report for sure.
Oh, and it would be the number one story. I mean, we remember the backlash from just when the Department of Homeland Security said we got to be careful about right-wing nationalistic organizations that proved to be apocryphal in some instances. But there's a couple of aspects of this that I want to ask you about. One is I don't understand what is Stratfor and what is their relationship to Homeland Security, because there's been a lot of talk, and I've heard people reference Stratfor for a long time as being this sort of just these BS artists, and
right.
which is fine, but they seem to make a lot of money off this to people who take them very seriously, who essentially, one could argue, run our society.
Right. I mean, it's interesting, right? Stratfor bills itself as a sort of private CIA, a leading global intelligence firm that corporations can hire, up to paying them fees up to, $40,000 a pop or more for the kind of consulting that they do. Now, it's interesting. A lot of people have said, "Oh, Stratfor is a joke. It's not a big deal." But I mean, as you said, people take them very seriously. The ranks are populated with, fairly well-respected analysts and former government intelligence agents. So if Stratfor is a joke, then one would possibly say that most of our intelligence gathering is a joke. but yeah, I mean, in this case, what were they doing with Department of Homeland Security? It's there, so they also were monitoring the Occupy Wall Street protest. I haven't published these emails. I don't know if WikiLeaks has yet, but there's a lot of email traffic, thousands of emails about Occupy Wall Street going back and forth within this organization. And the reason why they were so keen to see what was going on, because they would then whatever intel they could gather through whatever methods, either public or in this case, from Department of Homeland Security, they could then sell to their clients, specifically their clients in the financial service sector. And there's a lot of warnings in these emails about how these protests are affecting financial services.
Yeah, so that's nice that we are essentially subsidizing the information gathering of a private firm that is selling this stuff to corporations. I wonder when we get our kickback here. But
right.
Well, the other thing I find strange about this is that at the end of the report, it says the report is posted regularly to the Homeland Security Information Network Critical Sectors portal. This is if you get an email blast from anybody, you see down at the bottom, it's constant contact or whatever. This has sort of a similar thing. And it says, if you'd like to become an HSIN.CS member, please contact HSINCS@hg.dhs.gov. Can we sign up? I mean, will we get reports like this?
I haven't tried. It's very possible. I wouldn't be surprised that, because it's not a classified report, but I had never seen it published anywhere. I looked around to see if it had been published, and I couldn't find it. So I'm not sure. I mean, people might come back and say exactly that, like, oh well, this is publicly available. There's no big secret here. Regardless of whether we can get it or not, I would think it would be. My guess would be, if I tried to sign up for Homeland Security's reports about, their warnings about, threats to the critical, public infrastructure, they wouldn't necessarily be too keen to send me them. But I haven't tried yet.
All right. Well, we're going to try as soon as we get off our program today. But I want to also flag just a couple of things that you flagged in your piece at Rolling Stone. They say the continued expansion of these protests also places an increasingly heavy burden on law enforcement and movement organizers to control protesters. And then it goes on to say, due to the location of the protests in major metropolitan areas, heightened and continuous situational awareness for security personnel across all CI sectors is encouraged. Critical infrastructure. Who are they speaking to here? In other words, they're calling for a heightened and continued situational awareness. What is that, A? And B, who are they calling for to do this?
I think local law enforcement companies, and I would assume energy companies, transportation companies, one could assume even airlines, ports, these sorts of things. I mean, the question is, who in this Occupy Wall Street movement do they really view as a threat? And the people they list, Anonymous, the activist group, but they also list, not necessarily in the same context, but quite similar, unions, protesters, activists. The question, it raises a lot of questions, and people, I'm sure one could say this is just benign. Well, what do you think, Department of Homeland Security? Shouldn't they be monitoring large-scale public protests? I don't know. I mean, look, if the Egyptian government was putting out reports about, we got to watch for these guys in Tahrir Square, we would be up in arms and say, oh my God, what is the security force doing to these protesters? They're infringing on their rights. But in this case, I guess the regime apologists in Washington are just going to say, oh, it's no big deal.
Well, it seems to me that if they're basically inviting people to get on an email list, well, we send you reports like this, I mean, it would be pretty naive to assume this is all they have. Right? I mean, isn't there probably a version of this that maybe even Stratfor wouldn't have access to? I mean, I find it hard to believe that they're putting out this glossy PDF for semi-public dissemination, and they don't have another more secretive dossier, or maybe that we're not getting other intelligence agencies aren't looking into this.
Well, that's the disturbing thing. This is certainly the vanilla for public consumption version of the report, right? We know from prior reports that there'd been, indications that the Department of Homeland Security had helped coordinate the nationwide crackdown last fall on Occupy Wall Street with law enforcement. And then you see a report like this, and it does really make you wonder. Now, also in the context of the Stratfor emails that I've been looking through, which I think is worth pointing out, they discuss a New York Police Department counterterrorism report about Occupy Wall Street as well. And now I wasn't able to obtain that, but Stratfor had it apparently. So they have this counterterrorism report about Occupy Wall Street from the NYPD, and they have a Department of Homeland Security report about Occupy Wall Street. And the question is, is this I can understand why if you're a big bank you'd want I guess you'd want this information. The question is it the government's role to be providing this sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it's pretty shocking. And I think at the very least what we have is insight, regardless of what one thinks the competence or the seriousness one should treat Stratfor with. The fact of the matter is that we have insight into at least what the institutional thinking is by these large corporations, because we're seeing one of the major services they pay for to develop their institutional thinking when they look upon what's going on within society.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think, and as you suggested too, my hunch would be, just from covering these things and just knowing how these sort of large kind of law enforcement agencies work, is that we're just seeing the surface. Remember, this is just a report from, as you said, the Critical Infrastructure Department or whatever it was. Who knows what else is out there on Occupy Wall Street. And what I've said this before, but I think it's worth pointing out. Does Homeland Security have a report on the Democratic National Committee's conventions? Do they have it on the watch the RNC delegates as they come to town with the Tea Party? So there's all these other political movements. What if it was a civil rights movement? I mean, people would be, and we know that in the FBI in the '60s, that's what the government spent their time doing, compiling dossiers on Martin Luther King and these peaceful activists. And to see those sort of patterns of behavior, again, with just this DHS report, we don't know the extent of it, but we get a sense of it. It's very disturbing. And you combine that with the NYPD spying scandal. We know they're spying on a bunch of innocent Muslims from Yale to elementary schools in New Jersey. I think it's a wake-up call from what's been going on this past 10 years.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to point out about this PDF report is it's dated October 2011, as if this is sort of a regular, Volume 1, Issue 3 type of situation. I wonder, has anybody asked Department of Homeland Security if there is a December 2011, if there's a January 2012 version, if there's a February 2012 version?
I have not yet. I mean, we were under pretty intense deadline pressure. I literally, I'd put this up as soon as I could do it in a diligent way. But this is sort of the beauty. I mean, WikiLeaks gets hammered all the time. But in a way, this is sort of the beauty of WikiLeaks and this sort of reporting and the partnership that Rolling Stone and McClatchy have engaged in this case, but pretty limited, but still significant. In that, this hopefully will open up lines of questioning that otherwise would not have been there.
Right.
This is just one, glimpse of what's clearly a story that could have massive proportions. If people started really digging in to see well, wait a second, exactly as you said, is this Volume 1? What does Volume 2 look like? What happens? What's the volume in November once you have, things going down in Oakland like they did in other places where there actually was violence? What's the level of monitoring that's going on of peaceful activists? What's the level of monitoring going on that activists who may be, the black bloc guys, the anarchists? What sort of files are being produced on them?
Right. I mean, I think people have to, at this point, just contemplate for a moment that if Department of Homeland Security is disengaged in October 2011, the idea that they would just say, okay, we've written our 5-page report, I'm done, that whoever is involved in doing this investigation just rolled it up and said, okay, we've done our job. It's beyond naive to assume that.